Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journeys, encouraging folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Join us as we explore the journeys of women entrepreneurs in the food and beverage industry. Hello and welcome to Masoni and Marshall, the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of female food entrepreneurs. We are glad that you joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center.
Hi, Sarah Masoni. We are coming back from Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. We can't wait to go back.
I know, it's so fun. What a fun place. I don't know that I
food there.
Thought that I would ever be a Vegas gal, but I totally am. I dig it. I have fun.
Is that our third year of going there? I think it is.
This is our third year.
What? I was hearing around the show that people are like, you know what? We kind of like Vegas now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was going to say maybe it's our fourth, but no, it's our third. Yes.
Yeah, that was our third time.
I just think it's so much fun. I love all the food. I love that there's just always something to do.
You can stay up all night. You're a night owl.
Yeah, I'm a night owl. I love to be up all night. I can get like coffee and snacks at midnight. I like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can also find a quiet place in Las Vegas too.
You can find a quiet place. Yeah, this year we stayed at the at the Cosmopolitan. I love that hotel. There's all these secret bars and secret pizza places, and it's just so fun. So I had a really nice time staying there. I was very into it.
I just stayed at the Marriott across the street, but I did go to the Westgate, which is where Elvis used to hang out. And there is Elvis's door with like a secret code, but I didn't have a chance to see if you could actually go in there. It's like his dressing room.
Research for next time. We'll look it up.
Yeah.
The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast, giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. Well, we have a little bit of food news to announce right off the top. So we had talked about the Portland Mercado and how to donate to them. They had a devastating fire. But I did want to let people know that they are open. The carts are open outside.
That is so great.
It's so great. The health department approved for them all to open because no damage was on the outside to the carts. But that does mean that they have been closed for quite some time. So they need our support. So everybody go eat at the Portland Mercado if you can.
Yeah, great foods. I think there's like 8 different food carts right there with the covered sheltered area and picnic tables and some parking.
And I have eaten at probably every single one, unless there's a really
I think I have too.
They're all so good, and it's such
Those
a wonderful
pupusas.
place.
I love
Mhm.
pupusas. Mm.
Yeah, it's so good. So everybody go out and support them, please. They just opened up, I think, today. So get on out there and support them. And then our next food news is about the James Beard semifinalists. They
So
were
many.
announced. There are
Woohoo.
so many. I mean, of course, we love all of the restaurants. I was just going to give a shout out to some of our Portland buddies who were
Mm.
nominated as semifinalists from Portland. So Sarah Minnick of Lovely's,
Hmm.
Earl from Langbon, Hanoak, OK Omens, Jinju Patisserie, our friend Gregory from Con, Peter from Javiel, and Ryan from Notaguro. We wish you all the luck because these
Good
are
luck.
just the
Go, go,
semifinals. I
go.
know, but I'm so proud of our city and of Portland. That's a
Hmm.
lot of nominations to have and a lot of really
Yeah.
wonderful businesses. Get out there and support them if you can. Give
Hmm.
them some love and
We fancy.
yes, so fancy and fun. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was that because they were a James Beard semifinalist as well, but in Las Vegas. So,
Okay.
whenever Sarah and I go to Vegas, we pick one night to go out to dinner together.
She picks
Um,
it out. I follow along.
Sarah lets
Let's
me
be
pick.
honest.
I know, but it's so I have so much fun picking though, because
Yeah, yeah. It was a
how I
great
pick a
dinner.
restaurant to go with you is not on like who has the best reviews or what's going to be the fanciest or whatever. I always just look for best food in Las Vegas, tasting menu, gluten free.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
gluten
so
free.
that gluten-free key piece is what gets Sarah
It's
and I there
thoughtful.
together.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
we went to Anima by Ito, and it was
Yes,
a
we
little
did.
bit outside of the city. And then the very next day,
What happened?
they were awarded some as a semifinalist
Woohoo!
finalist for
And
James
guess
Beard as
what? We
well.
even got to visit with one of the owner chef guys, which I don't recall his name. Do you have his card handy? He gave us his card.
Yeah, he was one of the co-owners, but
Yeah.
the chef is Oscar Amador Ito. He's
Oh,
who
oh,
was
oh.
nominated for Outstanding Chef Award. So we wish him the
We
best of luck. We had the best meal there.
Oh my gosh, I still am thinking of the Kampachi under the smoky glass dome. That was
Yes,
so great.
that was so
And
fun.
we kept reliving it every time someone around us would get the same food. We would go, "Oh, that was so good." Just give it a big whiff, and the smoke comes meandering over our table. It was just so good.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite bite of that dinner
It
was
was mine too. I could have ate
yeah.
like we got what, three of them? I could have ate nine, and that could have been my
Yeah.
whole dinner.
Yeah, and that was part of the tasting menu. I think you can also order it off the menu, but that was the smoked hamachi, and they serve it to you with a little dome over it, and then they open it up, and this smoke comes out. And you can see on Sarah's Instagram, she made a video of our meal.
Oh, that's right. And they
It,
had a really cool sommelier, a guy from Italy. It was very full of hand gestures that I
yeah,
enjoyed.
so fun. All the staff were so nice and wonderful, and you can find them on Instagram too. It's Anima by Edo. So you can find them and check them out. And if you're ever in
Yeah,
Vegas, go
go
out
there.
there. It's worth it. It's a little bit of a drive outside of like if you're staying on the strip, but
Don't let them
I
take you on the freeway. Go on the streets. It's
go on the
faster.
side streets.
It's
But it's
like
so worth
whatever.
it and so fun. And Sarah, I'm always glad to share a meal with you on our trips. It's so fun.
Hmm. That was good. Very memorable.
Yes. So let's talk about the show. So we were there for the fancy food show.
Yes, we were.
And where do you want to start? You want to start with top picks or just something special?
I mean, I actually looked up the top items for day one, two, and three from the show that they published.
Okay.
So I kind of want to go over those, but I also want to talk a little bit about our participants that attended with us. We had 21 companies that came. And I think what we should do is see if in our show notes we can list those all out so everyone can go check them out online.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be cool. But I wanted to just make a comment about how I sort of pick my favorite It's not just about the food, it's about the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I was thinking about as we were contemplating our show today was what really is the main thing that draws me in. And I think it's generosity.
Mm-hmm.
I think generosity is really important when you're on the show floor and you're giving out samples and meeting with new buyers or customers. And there were so many companies there from Japan. They're so generous and kind.
Yeah.
And there was one company that made these really good crunchy rice snacks called Bika. And they actually took a bag and they put a full package of every single kind of cracker in the bag and handed it to me. And I'm not even a buyer, but they were
Yeah.
just so excited because we
Mm-hmm.
tried the crackers and they were so good. And they have, buttery ones and savory ones. But the one that was most interesting was actually the black bean, which had black beans inside of the cracker, and it was had extra protein because of that, and it was super crunchy and very savory. I think that
And
might have been my favorite product.
your favorite product. Yeah, I remember that table and they were all so nice and lovely and let us try everything. And I love seeing the Japan section is always Dirk's favorite. So he spends the most time there because he loves
Yeah,
the candy and the snacks and all of the stuff. And they sent him home with many things. And the thing about that is that we shop at all the Japanese grocery stores that are here in town.
yeah.
And so if we connect to the products, we will be continued customers. So I think that's just something good to keep in mind for people that have booths is that you never really know who you're interacting with, but I think it's always an opportunity to just connect with people in general. So maybe they're not going to buy your product, but I don't always think that those food shows, I'm not really going there to get new accounts often. I'm going there to interact with people and let them know who I am, let them know what I'm
Hmm.
about. Connect with them,
Relationships.
talk to them, tell them how to cook with my product. I'm not really trying to sell to big stores or accounts. So I just think it's always good to just chat with everybody. Like sometimes that's how we've had people write about us in,
Hmm.
magazines and blogs and find us on Instagram and then recommend us. Like just remember that every person, just have fun with them, have a good time, rather than thinking of it as trying to sell something to someone.
Yeah, and I went back to the Japan pavilion to see if I could find this special sauce that I tried at the summer show. And it's called agago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fragrant egg dipping soy sauce infused with black truffle and porcini mushrooms. And I explained to the people that it was one of my favorite things that I had tasted at the summer show, and they got so excited they gave me a bottle of it.
Oh,
It's
that's so
like
nice.
it's like liquid gold. It's so yummy.
Yeah.
I think last year or last summer when we were talking about the show, I was talking about how there's so many different types of soy sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has the white soy sauce in it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's so special. What was the company name and the sauce called that they gave you?
The sauce or the company is IGAGOE. I think it's Agogi. And that's their company. It's since 1873. And the sauce is called soy sauce for raw egg on rice using black truffles and porcini mushrooms. I think that's the name of the sauce. It's basically a description of how you use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
fun. I'm glad you found them again because you were talking about it since
And
last year.
on top of that, they emailed me. They followed up and emailed me and told me that they loved seeing me at the show and that if I want to buy any of their sauce to just, get in touch.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
I love that.
that was great.
Yeah, I think that when I am walking around, I am definitely looking for things that are fun and interactive. So right off the bat, I found my favorite booth. And I took you back there later because
Was
I
it the
didn't want you
candy
to
booth?
miss out on it. It was
Oh,
the
the kimchi.
kimchi. Yeah, so there's a company
That was
called
cool.
Mama O's Premium Kimchi. They're out of Brooklyn.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I have had their products before. They make this ghost chili kimchi paste that is
Mm.
spicy and good. And I just add it into soups and different things that I'm making.
Oh,
But you can use it to make your own kimchi at home as
it's like a
well, which,
starter.
yeah, it's kind of like a
Hmm.
starter for when you're making kimchi. So they sell those. They sell those pastes. They sell a hot sauce. They sell kimchi in bags now. And their booth was so fun because as soon as I walked by, they had these bowls and they were like, "Do you want to make your own kimchi?" So
Mm.
of
Yep.
course I said yes. So
And who did you make it with?
they let me make my own kimchi with their wonderful staff, their lovely staff.
Yeah.
And it was very, very fun. I had such a nice time. And what I want people to take away from this as a business owner or a person that has a booth
Yeah.
is that I already knew about their product, but I feel like I'll be forever connected to it because
Yeah.
I got to do something fun. So they had like salted the all the cabbage the night
The Napa
before, and
cabbage.
then they give you gloves. They have these clean stainless steel bowls
Yep.
and they just put a handful of cabbage in, put a scoop in. They had printed bags that were
Hmm.
their bags, and then they just you mix it up, you scoop it in, and then they seal the bag for you. And I just think it was such a simple way to be connected with all of the people that come through. And then they
Yeah.
take a picture of you, and then they post you
Yeah.
on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Um, so
That
I
was
really
cool.
feel like I've been to so many of these food shows now with you. That was the first time that I had done something interactive where it was like exciting and I felt like the people really wanted me to do it and they wanted me to be
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
And when we talked to the owner about it, he said that, sometimes at these shows people just sort of taste and they walk by and he really wanted a way for people to remember them and remember the experience
Yeah.
and remember the booth. And I think it was just so perfectly and simply executed. So I just wanted to give them a round of applause. I think they did a
That
great
was
job.
super special. I
Yeah.
liked it too. And that was fun that you brought me over there and they remembered you.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I think I might have been like the first person of the day to do it. I
Yeah.
think sometimes people just say no because they think that somebody's trying to like sell them something or get their information, and people get kind of closed off at these
Yeah.
shows a little bit. And I mean, I get it, but I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll do whatever. So, so I
Yeah.
really just like went right up there. And then after I did, a lot of other people came around. Like I think sometimes people just don't understand, like, oh, is this, you know, what am I going to be doing? Is it weird? It's so fun.
It was perfect. So another product that was kind of interesting that was at the show, which I've never seen, was actually frozen red grapes that were dipped in chocolate and then sprinkled with different sorts of crunchy bits. And the company's called Lolly's Frozen Grapes. And people were going crazy for it. I actually didn't try it, but I was watching them.
I didn't see that, I don't think. I thought I saw a stand with just regular grapes, but maybe they were frozen.
Yeah, they were frozen in a like an ice cream cup. And it was
Cute.
over in the Diversity Pavilion. I spent a lot
Fun.
of time over there. Yeah, it was good. Cool. One of the other things that I found that I thought was really cool and unusual because a lot of countries don't deviate from what their normal food is was actually a stuffed grape leaf with jalapenos in it. And the company is Athena, which is a traditional old Greek company that has stuffed grape leaves, but they actually went out on a limb and they added jalapeno, which is super unusual for a Greek or any traditional company to do. The
Yeah.
fancy food show, especially Food Association, is single-handedly responsible for bringing a lot of foods to the US that weren't always available. Like if you were to think about olives and all the other sort of Mediterranean foods that we take for granted, those actually came over to US through people that were members of the Specialty Food Association.
Yeah, you know what I noticed that was really fun was that so after the show we went to Italy, which is a big food focused sort of like dining hall. Like there's restaurants in there and but it's all Italian food.
Yeah,
There's a
they have
few
it
of
in New
them
York
around.
too.
There's the one in
Yeah.
New York that was the first one, but they opened one in Vegas a couple of years ago. So Dirk and I went there afterwards. I
Mm.
like to go there because they have really good wine because they have a lot of really
Ooh.
nice Italian wine, which casinos don't really have, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So we always go there, but what I realized from hanging out in there is that that's where all of the Italians go that are there for the food show. All
Oh,
of the food inside of Italy is coming
yeah,
from Italy. And
yeah.
so it's probably a big customer for all of the different vendors. So when you go to the Italian section of the food show, they're sampling all this beautiful
The
cheese
ham.
and
Mm.
ham, just everything so
Oh my
delicious
gosh,
and
all the
wonderful.
pastas.
Yeah, and so it was
Olive
fun
oil.
to
Mm.
then see everybody after the show and everyone speaking Italian. I mean, I really felt like while I was sitting there at the counter having my glass of wine, I really felt like I was in Italy because everybody's just like speaking Italian and trying all these things. And
Woohoo.
someone was coming around for us to try their like wine and cheese like after the show. And so it was
Remember
very
in
fun.
New York, they had a cart with different olives in Italy.
Yes.
If people
Yeah.
don't know about Italy, it's spelled Eataly instead of Italy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very fun. So that was really nice to see. And then one of my favorite bites actually was from an Italian vendor, and they are called, I'm probably gonna say it really wrong,
Okay, give it a
but
shot.
they're called Bertoncello gnocchi.
Mm.
So it's Bertoncello, gnocchi. They
Yeah,
do have a
sounds
website.
right.
It's mostly in Italian, but I think you can find a lot of their products here. So they make
Nice.
the most beautiful gnocchi. They're in like the fresh pasta section of supermarkets.
Mm.
We met the woman who does distribution for the United States, and their their gnocchis were not only beautiful because they were really like
Yeah.
some were
They have like,
orange,
hmm
green, purple. They would use like beets, basil, pumpkin, Um,
hmm
and then they had them to sample, and they were, of
hmm
course, very giving with the samples. And they were the most pillowy, like just soft. But then I tried one that had cheese in the middle, and it was just like the best, like Italian cheese. So if you can find their products, I really recommend it. They were so nice and they were so nice at the booth. They were working so hard. I felt bad. It was like two people just making gnocchi for the masses, So it's
day
like
after
they were,
day after
yeah, they were
day.
beat, but they did such a good job.
Yeah.
They were still very friendly, so that was really nice. That was probably my
That's
favorite bite at the
nice.
show because it was just like so surprised by
Mm.
the texture and the quality. It was really wonderful. We're going to
So,
take a quick
oh,
break
break
and
time.
we'll come back and talk about more of our fave stuff.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. Okay, so one of the products in the Regional Food Business Center area, which was in a new Now Next, which was part of Incubator Village, was called High Country Fungus Magic Mocha, Magic Chai, and Magic Cocoa. And they're functional mushroom instant beverage mixes. They actually made it onto the scene on day one at the Fancy Food Show. And those mushrooms, a lot of them are actually picked up in the high regions of Montana and Colorado. So it was really exciting to see them there. I did actually drink some of the product. It was so tasty. And of course, I had to give some feedback and say, why don't you blend these two? And he's like, oh, okay. So it was fun to have him there and have him get some press.
That's
So
so
it was
cool.
helpful.
Yeah, I loved seeing the gigantic section of people that you had in
It was
your zone.
gigantic.
It was so great. So
Mm.
just combining all of the different regions of and then having all the small businesses in one center, it was probably my favorite part to walk through just because um when there is just one person instead of a big booth, I think it's really easy to interact with them and get to know them. And so I really enjoyed my time in that section, and enjoyed chatting with people and taking pictures with people and trying their product. It was really fun.
Yeah, one of the ladies in the OSU Innovation Center booth area, Lauren Lee of Mirth Soups from Waco, Texas. She came up to me and she goes, Better Homes and Gardens came up to me and asked if I would let them have samples of my soup for a magazine article. She was so excited.
That's so cool. I love
Yeah,
that. I love
she
when
was so
things like that
excited.
happen there. That's so fun.
That was super cool.
I did.
What
Oh,
are some of
well,
your others?
I was gonna say something about you, Sarah, that I was excited for.
Oh,
And that was that um when I arrived, I was looking for you and I was texting you and I was like, that's weird. She didn't text me back. And then I just like heard this voice like as I was walking around. I was like, that is definitely Sarah, but it sounds like she's like on stage. And so I,
you found
I
me on
I
stage.
saw you out. I found you on stage and I watched
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do your presentation and it was very cool because
Mhm.
I didn't even know you were doing that. I was just
Well,
like, yeah, see you at the food show.
actually, I roped Ashley Colpart in there. She's the CEO of the Food Corridor. She's working on the theme team that I'm on for the Regional Food Business Center. And I said, Ashley, you and I need to sit together and talk about what we see happening in shared use kitchens and what are some of the trends that we're noticing in the work that we do. And so we sat up front and talked to people about what we've seen. And then we were doing Q&A and I decided I'm just going to go out in the crowd and ask people what they're working on. I think I talked to almost every single person that was there, let them talk about what they're doing, which was really cool.
Yeah, well,
I
I
like
think you did a
doing that.
great job because I think it is nice to involve the people that are listening and watching because we found a lot. Dirk and I were standing there, and when people would introduce what they were doing and talk about it, I'd be like, "Oh, Dirk, go get her information or whatever," because there's all these people that were doing cool stuff, and I'm like, we should either have them on the show or just find them on Instagram or get to
Yeah,
know them. So it was
exactly.
where I wouldn't have known who was standing there otherwise, but you had them kind of talk about what they did, so it was really nice and it was fun
Yeah,
to
we had
see
like
and to see
40
you.
people there.
Yeah, see you interact with everybody. And then the other thing that I saw was your face on the
The Jumbotron.
jumbotron when you
I
first walk in. So
I didn't
the
get to see it, but somebody sent me a picture of that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, these convention centers, have these in Vegas, of course, because everything's
Like a
so
football field.
flashy. Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
biggest screen you could ever imagine, like bigger than
Yeah.
a movie screen. It's so big. And then there's Sarah's face on
It's like, oh my
there.
gosh.
Just like, hi, Sarah.
Yay! Woohoo!
So I just wanted to say, so proud of you. You did such a good job on your talk, and you're being represented, and people are, excited that you're there. It's fun to walk around with Sarah because everybody wants to talk to her. Nobody really wants to talk to me, and that's fine. But they all want
Yeah.
to like pick her brain and ask her for advice. But it's always fun to walk around with you and see how much people want to talk to you about what they're doing and how you can
Yeah.
help them.
I mean, I walk around the show and every aisle there's somebody I know and they want to give me a hug. So
Yeah, it's so
I feel
true.
really lucky I didn't get any COVID or anything. Like I was getting hundreds of hugs.
You're going to be the super spreader.
I know. Maybe I am, and I'm not sick, but I'm spreading it around. Who knows? I hope not. What were some of your other favorites, Sarah?
Um, let's see. Well, I had a favorite booth that I really liked. They were called Chef Bombay,
Mm.
and they had a nice product. They sell like kind of frozen meals and then like appetizer things. And the reason I loved their booth is that it was really classy, for one.
Hmm.
It looked really good. They brought their own lights. They had this like wallpaper background with their logo.
Mm.
And then their products set up in front. But why I really wanted to talk about it is that, as I'm walking around, I want to take pictures of the things that I eat and like and just post it on Instagram so people can find them. People that are not at the show.
Hmm.
It's at some of those booths, it's so hard to take a picture of your product, of the products that look nice because everybody has all their junk piled around behind it. Like their
Right.
bags, their coats, their gigantic drink bottles, like
Yeah,
so much
yeah,
stuff. It's so hard to take a photo that
yeah,
looks really nice of someone's product. So my suggestion is that to make sure, even if you just like, I mean, let's say it's me if, as a hot sauce maker,
yeah,
even if I just have one bottle of hot sauce on some kind of pedestal with a nice light and a nice background that represents my product so that people can walk by, take a picture, tag
yeah.
me in it.
That's a good idea.
And they had this. They had this beautiful setup so that the products were in the front. There was
Good
absolutely
suggestion.
nothing behind. And then they were sampling over on the side.
Hmm.
And when I looked at it, I was like, that is so smart.
Puts your product
And
on a pedestal, makes
it
it real
puts it,
special.
yeah. And then, people realize like, it just makes it look good. And then they can tell other people about it without your, giant Starbucks
Yeah.
behind it
The
or
other thing
whatever.
I would just say, like, be classy when you're in the booth. Don't have snacks and all that stuff around. Like,
Yeah.
if you're taking a break, take it outside of your booth. I wanted to also talk about Toto Verde because she won the Fancy Face Off pitch competition.
Hmm.
That was happening, I think, on Monday evening. And the gal's name is Jocelyn Ramirez, and she makes uh, seasoning packets. She says they're 100 times better than anything you can find, and it's for Tinga, carnitas, and El Pastor for plant-based cooking with the Latinx foods. And she also has a cookbook.
Oh, fun.
So I went on her website. If you buy the sample pack, you get a copy of her cookbook. And she won $10,000
Whoa.
that
Awesome.
she can use to do something inside of her business, which is pretty cool.
That's
That
so
was
fun.
cool. Yeah.
So
There.
I
Did
have a
you see
couple.
that? Did you see that guy with the mohawk, Al Mancini? He had like a red mohawk
Mm-mm.
and a shaved head. He's like a he's like a culinary podcast guy in Las Vegas.
Hmm. And he was
And
there at the show.
yeah, he was walking the floor and he was the host for the Fancy Face Off
Oh,
pitch
fun.
competition. Yeah.
I had a couple of products I really liked that I didn't know of before. One of them was in your section. It was Mirth soup.
Yep. She's the one who had the Better Homes and
Oh,
Gardens.
okay.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
loved that. I loved
She's new.
the tomato tarragon soup. I thought that
That
was
was good.
so
Hmm.
good and so fun.
Hmm.
I also had not tried before the pastries that were right next to you, Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay Gott. She's from Hood River. She has Gâteau.
Gâteau.
She's
Yeah.
like a trained chef from like one of the culinary institutes. And she's doing sort of like frozen, ready to bake deliciousness. So there's like a lemon cake, a chocolate cake. I think she's going to be doing croissants and things like that as well, but very fancy.
Yeah, those were really fun. And then Dirk and I, of course, went around and tried all of the spicy things and all of the hot sauces. A lot of them we have, and really it's just a way for us to go around and say hi to all of our hot sauce friends.
Yeah,
And so
I
we
saw
definitely did that. There
one
was a
of our
couple.
guests, was it Hitch? Is that what they're
Yeah.
called? They were
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They were there. They were over in the like
Wasada.
yeah, import section.
Yeah.
We went and chatted with them. We Dirk hadn't tried some of Secret Aardvark's new sauces, so
Mm.
he went and did that. They were there with a giant Aardvark
Yeah, I saw the big blue
pl-
aardvark costume.
yeah, plushy
That was good.
puppy. Yeah, it was cute. That was their
Hmm.
debut of that. And then I hadn't met Tony from Papa Tony's Hot Sauce.
Yep, Papa Tony's was there. He transplanted from New Orleans to Seattle. Had his mom there. Yep.
Yeah, he had his mom, which was so cute. I took a picture with him and his mom and tried all the sauces, and we hadn't really met before in real life. I
He
definitely hadn't tried his sauces, so it was fun to try them.
he had like fashioned a sauce belt, which was a belt
Yes.
that could hold all of his sauce bottles. So when he wanted to sample, he could just like pull it out of his sauce holster.
Yeah, it was very
Sample.
cute and fun.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
think that those were my top hits. Oh, I did try one thing that I hadn't heard of before or tried, and it was called Prime Roots, and they were plant-based deli meats that are made out of
Oh yeah, I've had those too.
koji spores. I thought it was really cool, and what I really liked about their booth is that they had it set up like a deli.
Mm.
And then they had all the deli meats in the case, but of course they're vegetarian deli meats.
Mm-hmm.
So I did really like their setup of their booth and that it was fun to try their products.
I'm not gonna lie, I really did like this one candy booth that you took me to, and they had this candy called Puchow, and it was like a chewy candy with um boba inside the candy of different flavors.
Yum.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I could only eat a couple of them. I'm trying not to eat sugar, but and they actually did make candy with yogurt cultures in it. So I don't know if that makes it better for you or not, but I thought it was kind of thoughtful.
Like adding some of those probiotics to your candy seems like, I mean, why
Well,
not?
I think we're not supposed to make candy healthy. There's some kind of weird rule about you. Thou shalt not make candy healthy.
Not allowed.
I
Not allowed.
think rules are made to be broken anyway.
Yes, you do. I know you believe that.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Well,
those were my top picks. I talked about all,
it was a great show.
yeah,
Everybody had great feedback from the show. I don't think there was one person in our booth area that had a bad show. Everybody had a great show.
yeah. I think it's such a fun time. I think, I definitely recommend people go do the shows and interact with each other and meet people. I mean, I love it just to connect with the other business owners, and find guests for the show. I have a whole list of people to send to Chelsea to book, and I'm just very excited and love spending time there in Vegas for the food show.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Sarah, are we wrapping it? We done? Is that
It's a
everything we
wrap.
wanted to talk about?
I think
Okay.
so.
Well, cool. I had a great time in Vegas with you, and hopefully we do it
Hmm.
again next year.
Of course.
We record Masoni and Marshall live every week. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform like iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you to our audio engineer, Lon, and our production assistant, Chelsea. If you would like to be a guest on the show, send us a DM on our Instagram at Masoni and Marshall, and we'll be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
You're listening to the Startup Radio Network. Listen, learn, launch. 10% of our gross revenue goes directly to women entrepreneurs in developing countries around the world through Kiva's microfinance program.